Okay.
Can you all see my flowers that I picked for my
Yeah.
photo? Yeah.
Wow, Bess, very nice.
Oh,
I couldn't wait
That's
from
like
here,
going over the
Bess.
top.
That
man.
was
Blew
fun.
me out.
That was
Hold on.
fun.
Hold on, Bess got me beat. Let me see what I can do.
Come on.
You should pick Squeaky.
Yeah, definitely need a picture.
Okay, are you ready?
Ready?
Not yes, ma'am.
Start.
Fred's working on a background.
Okay.
Nice, Fred.
So, Lisa, are we like live to the media, to the public right now, or when?
As soon as I say okay, John will, he'll start.
Okay.
Okay, so if we're ready, then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Kim, did you want to stay on video?
not necessarily. You want to take
Okay.
me off?
Okay, hold
I'm
on.
happy not to be on video.
Okay,
You know, Kim, you can shut down the video yourself, but I guess it leaves the icon. Okay.
He's got me.
It might be
But
LeVon.
it's not me.
Vaughn won't be joining us today.
He's not
Vaughn will
gonna
not
join
be
us.
joining us.
Okay.
okay. Okay, Gina, we can't see you.
Hey,
Right here.
she's doing her makeup.
Okay,
No, I'm fixing coffee.
okay,
I see her.
well, we're about to, this meeting will be live streamed, so, you all just get in place and we are ready to start.
Don't act up.
On 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the pre-meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, April 14th. We have approval of minutes from April the 7th.
No problem.
Perfect.
Essential COVID-19 items, public hearing to determine for determination of the formation of the Mobile Tourism District. This has to be held over.
It's all right with me.
Did we decide on a
Hello.
date for the holdover?
Right.
Yeah.
If we're going to be remotely for the next 2 weeks, then it will be May, before we would hear it.
Total 30 days.
Oh. 30 days.
So 30 days,
Yes,
okay.
30 days.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that still keeps
Okay.
everything rolling along. We don't interfere or have to re-advertise or send
No.
out notices, correct?
We may have to send out notices again.
You have to send out the notice of the rescheduling, but not the
I
whole
see.
packet.
Perfect, okay.
Okay.
So we just need that date for the meeting then, whatever that 30-day.
Okay, 21294, authorized contract with Sanders Highland Corporation for Hillsdale Park Community Center Gymnasium flooring, $86,600.
It's good.
Gina, you want to say something, Gina?
No, I just said that's good.
All right.
Well, I think all the projects are good of these three. I personally don't see that they are absolutely essential. We can't vary from our rules, and our rules are, unless it's emergency, we should not address it at the same time. Just because we can vote on something doesn't mean we have to vote on something. And, but in this case, I don't see any of these as absolutely essential. I don't see any problem with passing them next week unanimously.
As long as it gets passed, you know, these things have been waiting for a long time, so I want it to get passed.
Yeah, oh, it'll get passed.
Whether it's today or
I got one on
next
there,
week.
too. I got one on there too.
So, but we do have,
Gina,
Kim?
What?
we will have to vote to, we'll have to vote to put them in the essential category. Because we got two steps.
That's right. With us meeting
One is-
remotely, it still has to be
That's right,
considered
Joey.
essential.
And then the other would be to waive a unanimous consent. I mean, to
Right.
have you, but we're not going to do that. But we will vote to put them in the essential category.
That's correct. You're absolutely right. Yep.
Gina, this is your
Uh-huh.
CIP money, correct?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, and what year are we talking about?
Last year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, so, but I'm willing to do it the way the council has got planned for this meeting on. No problem. I was just curious to know the timeline on that project. Thanks.
Kim Harding is on here. Kim, did you have any comment?
No, I just appreciate the council reviewing these. We've been trying to get these on the docket for a while, and as far as being essential, to us, they are essential because they allow for work to continue and be able to have these facilities ready for summer programs, which we hope will be back in play.
Right.
I absolutely agree.
Cam,
Yes, sir.
can you give me an update on Figures and Dodge?
Yes, sir. Those two are underway figures. They've got the flooring down and they're working on taping off and painting the lines as we speak. And then Dodge is on the agenda as soon as their agenda as soon as they finish the figures. It's Jim flooring at two other facilities is what he's referring to.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to go through each of these, or are we good with those? And we'll go to 21297 for Mardi Gras Park improvements, $58,385.
Now, oh, no. So why don't I recall that?
I don't know, John.
It's in there.
It's in there.
Was it one of,
Tell on, from the contract, exactly what it involved. But
It's drainage, Beth, it's drainage.
And was it
It's to
design,
address-
some kind of design, wasn't it? Like park
It's to
amenities?
address a drainage, it's to address a drainage issue.
is
But I
somebody,
think it, but I
Well,
think
I
it
can
included
speak to
some, Kim, do you know what's in that
Yes.
contract?
Yes, I do. We have a perched water issue, which is trapped water under the park. It continues to cause a lot of wet areas, which is difficult for use for
That's an
our
emergency.
And so what we're trying to do is get this remedy for that perched water drainage issue to be designed so we can get it constructed and the park to be used for scheduled events in the fall.
And the budget was 650,000 to do that project? Did I read that right?
Yes, it unfortunately is a very expensive fix. And there are some improvements to the park that will take place when we do this, just to maximize our, well, to keep there from being as much disturbance throughout the year.
So the transfer,
Are those CIP funds?
No, sir.
please.
Where the funds coming from?
I'm not sure of the original place where they were funded from, but my understanding is that these are capital funds that are remaining from the original project.
Yeah, if they're not CIP funds, I have an issue when we got to Florida Street. They told me that all of the difficulties, I spent over $2 million over there. They made me go to CIP. I don't like it.
Yes, sir. These were, I think, donated. Some of these were donated funds from some organizations back when the original Mardi Gras Park was constructed.
Do you think that we could get, just hold this one up for next week and get some more information on what money was in the pot,
Hey,
so to speak?
holding
And
them-
then
we're holding
how
them
much
all up.
it's been
That's-
expended?
We're holding them all up. That's what I was saying
Okay,
earlier.
well, but we're talking about this one, so, but I would like some information because it's interesting to know that there was money allocated and some of it was private. I remember all that. It goes back a while. So can we get an understanding of what's been spent and what is left for the project, just so we know, where these funds are coming from and what they're lined up against and what else needed to be done?
I have no issues if it's private money. If someone donated money, I say hooray for that. Let's rock and roll.
Hey,
Just needs to be-
Ken, also, while you're providing that information, I know you said other things, seems like, and it may have been done and I'm just not aware of it, but weren't you all going to put in some lines for electricity and some other things like that as well?
There is, as I understand it, and I've not been involved in all the discussions about this, but there is a donor that's interested in adding some trees to the park that this would be part of, and also there will be some electrical and irrigation. So there will be improvements to the park that'll make it more usable in the future, not just the under drainage perch water issue.
Yeah, because they
And
were
that,
looking at turning that into some sort of like a vendor place, like we needed electricity and some other things in order to really make that possible.
That's correct.
Markets
Yeah, I
in the
think
park.
there's drawings of the market.
Yeah,
It was
there
supposed
are.
to be like a French market, open air market, if I'm not
The
mistaken.
Christmas-
It's been a
Christmas-
while.
Yeah, Christmas Village, those kinds of things. but
Right.
they had to have electricity and some other improvements before they could do that.
I have some information on this.
Okay,
come
Did
on,
it just
Joe.
pop in your head?
The mayor and I,
John.
the mayor and I have been working with a private donor who is interested in paying completely for improvements to the park, which would include additional landscaping and a kind of a stage area, various things. Those plans are still being worked on. I don't remember any discussion having to do with what Tim's talking about drainage issues being a part. This was a landscape with respect to it. And as I say, the donor will pay for all of it. But I'm not willing, I can't at this point tell you who the donor is, because I think the plans are still being developed.
So right now, it's our money. Right now, it's our money. We'll get reimbursed. This
Well,
58,
I don't know.
no,
that.
that's not what Kim said, or
Not on
somebody
the
said.
drainage, I don't think.
they
Drainage
can't
is
do the-
probably separate.
Yeah, well, they can't do the other until they cure the drainage and get the
Let's let Clem-
electrical, I guess.
let's let Kim re-speak, or somebody with some authority re-speak.
Yeah, this is Paul. Let's do this. Before you take this up next week, why don't we get you a history of the funding to this point? A lot of
Right.
time has passed, and it's probably good to get you a written understanding of the provenance of the funding.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Okay, 68298, determine an appropriation to Feeding the Gulf Coast Service of Public Purpose and approve payments.
Is that mine, Lisa?
Yes,
It says 1,000 on my agenda, but it's actually going to be 2,000.
It says
yeah, I have
2,000.
two.
It
Yeah,
says
we have
2,000.
2,000.
It
Weird.
does, okay, well, on the agenda on my phone that I had, it said 1,000. I knew we had changed it. Okay, it's 2,000.
Yep.
And right now, we've received one, we have until 10 o'clock regarding presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. And you all should have a copy of Reggie Hill's letter.
Let's look here. There's Reggie Hill.
I also want to acknowledge this morning The council office received, 5 dozen donuts from Mobile Area Association of Realtors, Stephen Jones. So we thank them for the sweets this
Nice.
morning and the extra pounds.
Okay, but I can use one over here for my coffee.
Hey, have y'all seen, I know Facebook has got a lot of funny little things about coronavirus, but there was one about Little Debbie, and a picture of the regular Little Debbie
Yeah.
has the one next to her gained 14 pounds in 14 days of quarantine.
Lisa, what is this FY 2020 coronavirus emergency supplement funding program?
I don't know that I received that on our email today, and I'm not sure, it didn't have any purpose for it. It was just sent out.
What does it involve? Does it have paperwork behind it?
I didn't go
We
through
got it
each of
today.
the
Doesn't it have to be
attachments.
on Thursday? Hey,
It's something
Be in
about
this category,
500,000?
It
See what I'm saying?
wasn't
Anybody?
something that I don't, is it something that was supposed to be added to the agenda?
It's on
I
the
just-
agenda.
It's
What?
listed under Reggie Hill.
It's underneath
Oh.
Reggie. It's the
It's
second
right
item in
before
that category.
announcements.
I don't
Jim
know.
Barber.
What-
It says submitted by Jim Barber, sponsored by Mayor Stimson. Authorize the mayor to apply for and accept grant if awarded. Bureau of Justice Assistance. Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Program, $500,000, no match. I say we pass that today.
No, that wasn't for today. It should not have been on there. It was, that wasn't
Why
supposed to
not?
be on there. Because it
Oh, why not?
hadn't gone through the routing process.
Okay,
Oh, still, why not? I mean, let's authorize him now. We're not gonna, it goes through the routing process. It comes to look the same thing. All we're doing is authorizing him to pursue it. No match.
Yeah, so somebody, okay.
Let's not delay it. What if he, we're 1 day short on that?
Oh,
Let's
I
add
mean, okay, if you all want to add it, that's fine. It was just, it was put in, before the meeting, she didn't close the meeting out on Novus.
Well,
and that's how it got
there's
on
no
there.
match,
Sure.
and there might be a timeline to submit the grant. So if there's no harm and no money that we have to let go at any point, according to this resolution, it's pretty clean. So we
Well,
might
no one
want to.
contacted us about adding it, so,
I see. Okay,
Well, Paul, where you at?
Paul,
Yes. No, we would appreciate any indulgence that you could give us in sending that forward. I was not aware of that. It sounds like something that we would like to get done sooner rather than later. We are faced with a number of expenditures related to COVID-19.
Let's roll.
But I got the question to our attorney to make sure that our attorney is comfortable for us to vote on this before we actually do it.
grant application.
Yeah.
Department of Justice.
Just
Yeah.
add it or?
Yeah.
See a problem with us doing it.
it doesn't involve any match. There's no match for the city to put
And it's
forward.
directly COVID related.
I
Yes,
think
I
it
agree.
applies under the COVID, and if, 3 of y'all want to add it, it can be added.
Add it, one here.
Let's do it.
Two.
3. Fine.
I'm in.
Okay,
So,
all right,
Thank you.
That's it.
okay.
And you said there's only, we got from a citizen a question or comments, or just Reggie Hill so far? That's it?
Right now, it's just Reggie Hill. They have until
Okay.
10 o'clock.
Sure. Okay.
Madam Clerk, I have one other question. Did we receive any weed and liens requests from the administration for the regular agenda? My concern is to make sure that those don't get hold up, because those are very essential, especially on the east side of 65, because it's springtime,
Can't.
grass are
We
growing.
can't do those because you have to have a public hearing in connection with them.
They have to have a
What?
public.
You do. You have to have a public hearing to declare them public nuisances.
Yeah.
And if you can't have the public hearing, you can't declare them.
That's
Okay.
true.
Okay.
Mr. President, just for your knowledge, there are no agenda items that were held at the mayor's office as not satisfying a requirement. So there's no backlog that we're aware of.
All right, thank you.
Is that it?
Okay, yeah, announcements.
I have a statement I would like to make. Paul? Paul, can you hear me?
I am here and I can hear you.
Okay, I sent a letter up last night to the mayor. I copied you on it and all council members regarding debris from the recent storm. And saying that permit the citizens to put the storm debris at the curb and not charge them if it's oversized. As long as it's storm debris, I'm not talking about somebody bringing up mattresses and beds, strictly storm related. We've done that in the past. And yesterday, the Alabama Power, a tree fell on that line. Alabama Power came out and cut it all down, put it on the side of the street. The citizen called the city. The city said they were not picking it up. So then I had to go back working through Alabama Power Company because it was no fault of their own that the tree fell, try to get it out. I don't think, and this is a homeowner who is home because of the COVID-19 virus. She's not making anything, and they're telling her she had to pay to have the storm debris picked up. I think the city needs to waive that. If it's storm related, pick it up.
Hey, Councilman, this is Jim DeLapp. I got your note. I think John Peavy, I'll communicate with him. I know you were in correspondence with him earlier. And I'll make sure that if it's storm debris, that should be the case.
Right.
It's just, as you know, it's very difficult to determine whether it's, when it got knocked down or some, and generally though, I mean, I had this same discussion with Councilman Williams earlier this week. The guys do the best they can to try and determine that stuff. But without getting into the world of contractors putting out a bunch of stuff for us to pick up. But yeah, we'll try and pick up any storm debris that we know of.
But I'm saying if it can't grow, it's not storm debris. Well, unless it blew down a building or something. I'm basically talking about trees, tree limbs, stuff like that.
That should be no problem.
Okay, because John ended up saying if it's too big, they may have to pay. If it's storm related, I'm not into too big and too little. We've done this down through the years. We've had all kind of storms, and this is what we did at all of those storms. We can't come back and say, well, that looked like that's too big. Let's pass that. I can see you saying, let's pick all the small stuff up now and come back the next day and get the big stuff. I don't have no problem with that.
Right. That's basically what they do because, there's so much debris right now from people cleaning out stuff, cleaning their yards. We're more than 50% our normal load, 50 to 100% more than we normally pick up. And so what they will do is they may skip a big load to get a bunch of smaller ones and come back the next day to get the other one. And so, but they will make it back to get that stuff.
All right. Okay. Good.
Hey guys, while we got a little extra time, I'd like to, I've already encouraged the mayor and probably want to encourage everyone, the health director, the state health department. We need to kind of come up and say, we want a plan. We want, when we meet a certain criteria, we would like to see a plan of how we're going to bring business back into order. Are we going to do it in reverse order that we closed it down? We just to sit and wait on the day when we all feel good is is really not much of a plan. And while we have all this time on our hands, we probably ought to be looking at how not only do we put business back to work, but when's the city council going back to work? We're gonna have 3 meetings?
We have a state order, John. We're under a state order. We can't preempt the state.
Did I say that? Did anybody hear me say anything about preempting? Now, Fred,
You
let me
said we
finish.
need a
Let me
plan.
finish.
I'm saying our plan will have to fit in with the state's plan.
I'm saying we need to encourage the state office, state health office, as well as the governor, Bert Eichel, the mayor, to have a plan for when this criteria is met, we are going to start doing it, and this is the order we're going to do it. It may not go in that order, but if we sit around and don't have a plan, then we're going to be way behind when it comes to doing, and as a city council. I mean, are we going to have this for endless? We can be meeting right now. We're not under state order to meet remotely. We're under state order that allows us to meet remotely. And I'm not
Yeah.
against,
Yeah, I'm not speaking for the mayor, and maybe Paul can speak more of it, or the mayor can speak for himself. I believe that he had a meeting with the Chamber of Commerce and trying to start that conversation already, if I'm not mistaken. So I believe that the mayor is, is working on that. It's something maybe Paul can talk about, or the mayor can speak about it later on. But I believe that he stated on yesterday that he had a meeting with the chamber to go ahead and start the conversation.
That's
But-
right, Mr.
but I
President, those conversations are occurring. And I can tell you, opening business at the appropriate time is foremost on the mayor's mind. Not only does it have to do with, the city revenues, but it has to do with the survivability of our small businesses that are really taking it on the chin right now. That is foremost, and I appreciate you putting it at the top of the agenda also. Thank you.
Is it possible for the council to get some, maybe summary notes and ideas or whatever, like to be somehow in the loop as this is evolving? I appreciate the mayor's office working with all the different disciplines to get us open. And I think that is huge on people's minds. But is there a way that the council could at least be, somehow in the notes or made aware of what's been moving, who's been meeting, things like that?
Oh, absolutely. Right now, as some of you have mentioned, there's a requirement for a lot of coordination among the governor's office, the various mayors in this county, the county health department, the county commission, and the city. And so those discussions have been proceeding, but it is very early in the game right now. We're really transitioning. We are approaching a point in time where we will have to balance the health concerns that are legitimate against the economic concerns, which are also legitimate. If you simply look at the medical side, well, we would shut down for a long time to avoid a new wave, to make darn sure that, this virus is as killed as it can be. And that is a legitimate concern of our health professionals. On the other side, we know what a recession does. A recession indirectly, is responsible for millions of deaths in and around 2008. From economic collapse, the loss of businesses, the loss of jobs, mental, physical, and emotional well-being, everything from, heart disease to suicide caused by a recession. So we can't divorce the two, and there needs to be middle ground and conversations as we go. So a lot of those are occurring, but yes, you are certainly entitled to the benefit of where those conversations coalesce and as those plans are put together.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Paul,
Yes.
yesterday the mayor had said something about Dr. Eichel maybe shutting down businesses to a greater extent, maybe only 10% of volume. But I had also gotten an email from a small business owner in my district saying that if they went any further, that would probably shut him down because it's kind of a variety store. They also sell cleaning products and that sort of thing, but it's not a grocery store. And he felt like he would be impacted if they went any further. So there may be some other small businesses that are hanging on because they sell cleaning products, but would be having to shut down if, I guess, the order went further.
No, that's right. The mayor's concern grew out of personal inspections made by him and others of big box stores, where through really no fault of the big box store managers, the crowds were unbelievable. I think in a Walmart, a 20% of capacity requirement still results in 1,000 customers being admitted to the store. And so, you know, against the best wishes and best operations of those big boxes, there has been a lot of customer interaction that is not appropriate. People getting too close together to each other, whether they're in the aisles or lined up to check out. So that's where the mayor's concern is. As far as we know, the small stores are not having that issue. And again, those conversations are going on between the mayor and the county health officer.
Yeah, I would think as long as they sell cleaning supplies, sanitizers, you know, that sort of thing, that they could be thought of as an essential business, even though they have other items as well.
One of the things that, you know, we're up against, so to speak, is that the state orders trump local orders. Ms. Kessler can maybe shed a little bit more light on that, but essentially, once the state issued their orders, you know, after the mayor did, our hands are somewhat tied into what can be declared an essential order, an essential business and a non-essential business.
Hey, speaking of some of the big stores, are the employees supposed to be wearing masks and gloves?
That is not in the orders as I understand it right now, Ms. Gregory. Those are certainly best practices. Gloves, you know, gloves are a little bit of a different matter. If the issue is touching your face, well, you know, touching your face with an infected glove is no better than touching your face with a hand that has virus on it. But masks are best practices, and those are certainly encouraged, not only among store personnel, but also by customers.
Right. Well, when I was in a big box store on Friday, some employees had masks, some didn't. There were groups of them all working together very closely. Cashiers were not wearing masks and people were not 6 feet away from them. I mean, you know, it's some do, some don't. It's kind of haphazard.
Would that be corporate policy though? As far as if it was a big box, they would be getting corporate directives. And
Right.
you would think from a legal standpoint, they would have that knocked out and organized.
You would certainly think so. Now I
Right.
went into, as an example, I went into Whole Foods later and everybody in the store had on a mask or gloves, a mask and gloves. And they had somebody at the door checking you in and out and giving you wipes and wiping down the carts, you know, all those kinds of things. So I think some stores are really cracking down while others are haphazard.
Well, one of the things that we've noticed from the administrative point of view is over the past 10 days or so, we've gone from a situation where there were virtually no masks to where those are very prominent now. And I think the differences in how the big boxes are performing has to do with supply of PPE and not necessarily differences in corporate philosophy about that. So I think as time goes by, you will see more of a uniform approach to PPEs on the part of store employees.
Hey, speaking of that sort of thing, didn't I see that Daphne was doing a giveaway of masks to their residents?
I have not heard about that.
You know, because people are still, you know, where do I get a mask? What if I can't sell?
I
How do
can't find it, Gina.
Yeah.
I don't know where to find it.
Well, I don't either, but I think I can figure out how to do one with a bandana and rubber bands, which is about as good as I can get.
Yeah, you can do a makeshift one, just something from around your house.
Just don't go to the bank with it on.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, I
No.
had something the
Hey,
other, well, I had
CJ,
something the
don't-
other day
CJ,
that
don't
I
you
had
go to
from,
the bank with it on.
well, I had something that I used when I was doing chemo that was really this thing for my head to keep my head warm, but it was all like one piece of fabric. And so I used that when I went to the store the other day. It's like this big old ski mask looking thing. And people were giving me the funniest looks.
But you were protected.
I was definitely protected. Oh, yeah. And hot. Very warm in that thing.
All right, if there's anything else, so remember that we need to cover before 10:30?
That's good.
All right.
All right, see you later.
Just ask everyone to try to log in 10 to 15 minutes before 10:30, and we'll start right on time. Thank you all
Will
so much.
do.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
well.
you.
See y'all. Thank you, Lisa.
Bye-bye.
I got all kind of backgrounds, by the way.